Hello everybody, we are back after a week-long absence. I do apologize for that. It was a crazy week for my other YouTube channel. I had to get a bunch of videos out, but we are back. Hopefully doing 4 to 5 videos a week for this one, and I feel ready to go. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe to me if you're new to my channel. If not, no big deal. Now let's get started. So it's going to be kind of a wide array of talking points in this video. I don't think it'll be a crazy long video. It won't be 10 plus minutes or anything like that. And there's not going to be any notes. So if I stumble, I stumble. No big deal. And we're going to be talking about the Winnipeg Jets to start off, as the whole Manitoba province, or Jets fans in general, feel like panicking because it seems like there is going to be a mass exodus of players out of the province. You have Pierre-Luc Dubois. He wants a trade. Now, I said in a short a few days ago that he was an unrestricted free agent. That's not true. I believe he is a restricted free agent after this year. However, his agent last year basically said, you know, guys, I don't really think he's going to want to stay here. He kind of has his heart somewhere else, which seems to be Montreal. He wants out of here. So I don't imagine that PLD will be sticking around with him after this season. I think they'll probably try to unload him at this point. He is a guy that should be a third-line center on a real contender, but probably is good enough to be a second-line center on a pretty good team, and definitely a first-line center on a team that maybe doesn't have those true Stanley Cup final expectations. Seems to be that he really wants to go to Montreal. We'll have to see what happens there, but he is probably gone. Then you have Mark Scheifele that seems to be interested in this. I haven't heard as much about him, so I'm not going to, harp on this too much. But you do wonder, again, a guy that's been there for a while and has been part of the Jets' success, if you want to call it success, considering the run that they've had where they've been a consistent playoff team. If he's gone, that's another loss. So there's that. And then the bombshell, if you want to call it that, is Connor Hellebuyck, their goalie, reportedly does not have plans to sign a big extension or an extension, and I believe he is an unrestricted free agent after this year. So that's 3 guys right there, and then there's more players that are free agents after this season. So you really do wonder whether or not bonus is kind of the problem in the Winnipeg system. Maybe they're not feeling him out as a head coach, or you kind of just wonder if a lot of these guys feel like that their time in Manitoba has kind of run their course and that the Jets are not the team that they want to be with. Clearly, some of these guys don't feel like that's the case. Maybe money's an issue. I really can't say at the moment, but Winnipeg does look like a team that could be really going down the wrong place. If you're a fan of this team, I wouldn't say to expect a playoff appearance again this year, this upcoming season. So if you're a Jets fan, maybe hold off on getting those jerseys of those players you really like right now, because who knows if they'll be there after this year, and we will see if the Jets really start to unload a lot of these guys during the summer and before the trade deadline. And then the other talking point is kind of centered around Vegas. Of course, they have a 3-1 series lead over the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final. They go on to play them tomorrow. If they win, of course, they win the Stanley Cup for the first time ever. And for me, I kind of wanted to talk about Jack Eichel's legacy if he's able to win this. So Jack is a guy, of course, we've talked about taking 2nd overall in the draft after Connor McDavid, and everybody views McDavid as a superstar, one of the best players in the league for good reason. He's probably one of the best players to ever play, and he is not even 10 years into his career. Eichel has had a little bit different of a trajectory in his career. Obviously played a long time for the Buffalo Sabres, wasn't able to make the playoffs. And really his image, I feel like, was kind of tainted towards the backstretch there with all the surgery talk, him not playing, stuff like that. He goes over to Vegas. They missed the playoffs last year. And again, Jack Eichel's playoff drought continues until this year. Vegas makes the playoffs, and now they are 1 win away from the Stanley Cup. Here's what I'll say about Eichel. Definitely a great player and a guy that you would want to have on your team, and a franchise player in my opinion. He has 23 points in 21 playoff games, so that's incredible. They're averaging over a point per game. We're not going to just say, because he averaged over a point per game, that he is incredible. We know that he is a guy that's been able to be very good. But for him, I think to be able to get this Stanley Cup would be something he could put up there and say, this is mine. This is something that they can't take away from me. And a lot of people will always view McDavid as the better player. To be fair, I think that's totally understandable. I'm not going to argue with it. But at the same time, some people act like Eichel is a bum, which is the most ridiculous thing that I've heard. I see a lot of people on Twitter that I think are just Jack Eichel haters. I think they probably are Buffalo Sabres fans that are angry, or people that don't like the Vegas Golden Knights. As a Vancouver Canucks fan, I feel the frustration of seeing Vegas go out there and live my dreams as a fan to possibly see your team win the Stanley Cup. But Eichel is going to do something now that not many people can say, and that is to go on and play a key factor for his team to win their first championship. And for him, it'll be his first championship. McDavid will end with more personal accolades. I think that's just kind of a given. but at the same time, McDavid's future as a champion isn't as certain, whereas Jack's probably is, and he could have the ability to win more championships. Is McDavid never going to win a Stanley Cup? I don't think so, but at the moment, at least Eichel will have one thing to say: I got this, he didn't, and we're going to get that monkey off your back. Now, as for Vegas themselves, what exactly does winning the Stanley Cup mean? We're probably going to do a video on that a little bit later in the next few days if they do win the Stanley Cup. Florida obviously is in a spot where they could win this, but I think for them, they're kind of catching a break where Matthew Tkachuk could end up being out for Game 5. I don't think he will be, but he's dealing with an injury, so you're going to have to watch out for that. As of right now, though, all the cards are favored in Dallas, or Vegas's hand right now, as they are back in Sin City getting ready for the possible final Game 5 as they look to win their first Stanley Cup. And of course, this would be a great thing for future expansion teams if they want to go down that route, and I think that would make it more marketable for the NHL if they wanted to do expansion, say, compared to years past, the way that we do expansion is much better and allows for teams that are in the expansion to be able to thrive at an earlier stage compared to, the 90s and previous decades where you were just probably going to be bad. But we will see Vegas, of course, looking to finish off the job tomorrow night. And of course, on Wednesday, I'll do a recap if that is the case. If not, I've got other content that we're going to talk about throughout the week. But anyway, of course, like I said, wanted to apologize for the long absence. It will not be another 7 days when I go without a video. Like I said, trying to get back to the 4 to 5 a week like we've been doing. But anyway, what are your thoughts on all this stuff going on? About, the Jets, about Eichel's legacy, and just kind of where Vegas is at right now to where they could win the Cup. I'd love to hear them. Leave the comments down below. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And Eagle of Hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.